Well, hello there. So today we have a question from a MowieCast listener. Brian Kopp, who's a software engineer at BombBomb in Colorado Springs, called us and asked us the following question. Do you have any tips about moving a website with an SSL certificate from one physical server to another one? I'll have to update the DNS record for the website to point to the new location, and I'm concerned about the interim period, where some clients will be going to the new location while others continue to go to the original location. What is a good way to get the certificate onto the new destination server and then deal with TLS warnings that some clients may get? Well, thanks for your question, Brian. It's a good one. Something to keep in mind here is that SSL certificates, they are tied to the subject name, which is typically a domain name. So say, for example, mysite.com. So the SSL certificate is associated to that website name and not whatever DNS resolves that host name to. So this means that a DNS change for your website, it's not going to invalidate that SSL certificate. So I think we're in good shape here. So your migration process really is going to consist of the following two steps. So first, you're going to set up that new destination server and make sure that it has a valid SSL certificate on there for your website address. And so note for this, you can either use the existing SSL certificate by simply either copying it or importing it onto the new server. Or you could go and create a new SSL certificate for the same domain name. You can do this with use domain name validation on your SSL certificate for this. So, for example, really easy with AWS, with its certificate manager, you can go create a new certificate for that same domain, that same website, using domain name validation. AWS will just simply ask you either to validate via email, or you can add a text entry into the DNS zone for that domain name to do the validation. So once you have the new server up and running with the TLS, this SSL certificate installed, you can then, step 2 would be simply just to update your DNS record now. So you're going to be updating either that A name or that C name record for your website to now point to the new location. And then, of course, that's going to now kick off this interim period where some clients will still have the cached value of the host name resolution, which means they'll be going to the old location. Some ones will start getting a new one. But the good news here, there's not going to be any TLS warnings. That's because both servers have a valid SSL certificate. The browsers, the clients, they're not going to have any validation issues because the clients they need to make sure that the certificate is coming from the location that they expect it to. So they're just looking again at that host name. So if a browser is saying, hey, I'm going to mysite.com, and they have the cache, the old version of the DNS entry going to the old server, as long as the SSL certificate for that still says that it's for mysite.com, then the browser is going to be fine with it. Same thing goes for the new clients as well. So I think you're gonna be okay here. One tip for you when you are doing these kind of DNS changes is it's always good to go in and ratchet down the TTL on your DNS records for those records that you do plan to change. So this way you'll keep that interim period as short as possible. So, for example, say your current TTL setting on your website address is 24 hours. You might want to go in and set it to something like 5 minutes or 1 minute. So you're going to have to wait a full timeout period before you make the real change. So again, if it's 24 hours, you're going to have to wait at least a day after making that change to now change the TTL down to a smaller value, like 5 minutes. But once that period elapses, then you can go in and make the real DNS change the address now in DNS to point to the new server, and then wait for the changes to propagate. It's going to be again, if you set it so 5 minutes, let's say, within 5 minutes, almost all the clients should now be talking to the new server. And then once things have quiesced, then you can go evaluate whether or not you should go back, and you probably should change your DNS record now if you don't expect any further changes to go ratchet it back up to a bigger value. So again, whether it be 4 hours, 8 hours, 24 hours, whatever it may be. So hope that answers your question, Brian. Thanks for your question. Keep them coming, and we'll see you later.